Hi, this is Alexander from Solar Leather Machines. Today I wanted to do a special sewing demonstration for the 3200. I've had many requests to do something more practical than just a strip of leather, a little square sample piece like what you see here. Um, so today we're going to try sewing a holster. This is a client's holster that he's brought in and asked me if I would give it a shot. So we're going to give it a try. So we've got this machine set up for 277 thread. I want you to get in right in tight there so you can see this, okay? 277 thread, white. This is bonded nylon, which is actually the type of thread that he would use for sewing this type of holster. Now I haven't sewn his pattern before, but he has got some really nice stitch lines here. So I'm gonna try to get pretty close to it. I've got the machine set for a pretty small stitch, which is gonna help me hit those corner points pretty close. And we're going to go from here. So right now I've got the double toe foot on. I did not change out to the left only foot. I might want to do that in the future if I'm going to get close into the sides, but I think we're going to do this right here just like this. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do here is we're going to start here. I drop my needle down because you always want to start with a decent back stitch, right? And I want to get it right there on that corner, and I'm not actually going to stitch it there. I'm going to walk it forward about there or so, because when I go in reverse it's going to go backwards. Now when I do a reverse stitch, I want to hold the threads at the 5 to 6 position, foot down. We're going to ease onto this. Nice and slow, go into forward position. Now I just built this machine, so there's a little bit of oil on the feet. I probably should have cleaned that off a little bit, but it's a brand spanking new machine. So there's some assembly lube on it, pretty normal. I missed that corner just a little bit, but I think I should be able to hit it and come close to it. I like one reverse stitch and maybe two. Some people like two. Okay, right there. Lift the foot, bring it out. Okay. Okay, that's pretty decent. Not bad for my first time on that pattern. And there's the back side. Okay. Now, of course, the big thing is these loose threads. So what I like to do here is, since this side of the paddle is always seen and the back side is not normally seen, I like to pull that tail to the back. And there's a couple of different ways you can finish this. I like to knot it. My big fat fingers, right? Like so. And you can hit it with a dab of glue. I'm gonna melt it here just a little bit, press it in. This little thread burner here that I've got. And the lock stitch on the first stitch though is buried under there, so it's not going anywhere. I can't pull that out, so I'm just gonna have to do this really carefully. There we go. Alright, so that's one side stitched here. Now what I would probably do is go back after this with a roller. I'd probably flip it over and I'd, with a hand roller, come in and just roll that down a little bit. That is a facet of sewing machine sewing, is that you've got a little divot there where the needle comes out, where the penetration is. But that's generally how you would sew a holster. There's another pattern over here. Okay, and if you bear with me, I'll go ahead and sew that as well. You always want to think about how you're going to end up. So I like to, since I'm right-handed, I like to have the holster in this direction. Okay, again, when we're doing a back stitch, we want to start with the threads in the 5 to 6 position. Okay, that lock stitch is in, so I can pull that out of the way. And this is just a straight line, so all I have to do is just basically follow it. This owner has put a stitch groove in his holster, which is fine. I'm not a big fan of stitch grooves. I like using a special stamp that is registered on the holster and puts a slight indentation on the holster. But also, if you don't have a stitch line, you can use the holster for different makes and models of gun. By changing the stitch pattern. Now he's done himself a great favor here by gluing this together, and it is much, much easier to sew leather when it is glued together. It acts as one piece, it doesn't drift on you. But even glue, even the best of glues over time will start to separate, and that's where the stitching really comes in, where it starts to do its job, which is keep everything together over time. Gluing things will certainly keep it together in the short period, but if you're really going to stress a piece, you want to glue it. I like the barge cement, those type of heavy-duty cements. Yeah, it looks like I hit that that hole just about right. All right. Again, we're going to do this here with the threads. This is the beginning stitch. And there are as many different ways to do this as there are to cook barbecue. This one's being a little, there we go. There. You know, you can flame these with a lighter as well. Yeah, it's not the greatest. I'm not a holster maker. But there you go. That's how you sew a holster. If you have any questions, this is Alexander from Solar Leather Machines, www.solar-leather.com. Our phone number is 817-422-9151. Thanks a lot.